Breaking news. China has won the historic AI race and left the United States far behind.
You can trust China coming out with awesome futuristic innovations, but this time it's dominating even the wheels department. It's rapidly emerging as a global leader in engine innovation, that Chinese advancements are pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The country's technology is showing a speedy pace, challenging the US to keep up with its rapid revolution. Time to meet these both beauty and quality new generation engines in the market. China's BYD Yangwang U8.
Meet the Yangwang U8, the Chinese all-electric super SUV.
The BYD Yangwang U8 from China is making headlines as the world's first floating SUV. This innovative vehicle boasts a hydraulic system that allows it to rise or lower by 150 mm, making it a formidable presence on the road, all for a price tag of $50,000. One of its standout features is its ability to perform a tank turn, executing a full 360-degree spin while remaining stationary, perfect for making a stylish statement when parked. When it comes to aquatic adventures, the base model can float in water up to 1 meter deep, while the off-road variant can handle depths of 1.5 meters. In case of an emergency, like being caught on a flooded street, the U8 automatically activates its emergency floating mode.
Billions of American dollars are wiped away with a major innovation in artificial intelligence technology. Experts say this breakthrough could reshape global tech, economics, and national security in ways never seen before. DeepSeek, a Chinese artificial intelligence startup, made headlines worldwide after it topped app download charts and caused US tech stocks to sink. DeepSeek says it has been able to do this cheaply. Researchers behind it claim it cost $6 million to train, a fraction of the over $100 million alluded to by OpenAI boss Sam Altman when discussing GPT-4. It has also seemingly been able to minimize the impact of US restrictions on the most powerful chips reaching China. Amy Webb, CEO of Future Today Strategy Group, says China has the edge in the AI race because it's ahead of the US in building out key infrastructure. Webb discusses why the US needs a coordinated effort to stay competitive in tech development.
And in one way, we have an olive branch for TikTok. In another, we have still a desire to restrict very integral technologies going to China, and China building up its own chip supply chain and resilience away from the United States. Who's winning?
Right. So again, I think at the moment China is winning, which is a controversial view, but let me tell you why I think this way. China has spent years investing in infrastructure. The United States has really had sort of a freewheeling innovation focus. And the challenge is we've got a handful of companies that are making through roads in their innovation in different technologies, but we don't have the physical infrastructure to support a lot of that, which is why you hear so much about data centers and energy consumption. China has been at the forefront of totally transforming what energy transfer looks like. In March, the CCP will have its meeting on China's annual 5-year plan.
The United States is currently falling behind China in the AI race for several interconnected reasons. First, China has heavily invested in AI infrastructure, research, and industrial integration, giving it a structural advantage, while the US relies heavily on private sector innovation. Watch these stats.
China spends 3 times as much as the United States does at the government level on AI, quantum, and biotech. The United States depends on China for 70% of its rare earths and 99% of heavy rare earths, 33% for active pharmaceutical ingredients. 80% of US biotech companies have at least one Chinese supplier. We depend entirely on China for arsenic and holmium copper. And a single Chinese firm is involved in developing 1/4 of the drugs in the United States. Tell me why it's even worth addressing this, because their head start seems insurmountable.
So the bottom line is, it's a daunting report. And there's no one quick silver bullet. But throughout America's history, when we decide that we care about something and align ourselves entirely, public sector and private sector, in concert with our allies, behind achieving a goal, we're able to get that done.
Senior research fellow James Kyng, speaking at last week's event, What is China's vision for a new world order? Warned that China has already overtaken the United States in the technology race and left Europe far behind.
I think China's already won the tech race with the US and left Europe far behind. And I think, frankly, in Europe, we've been mostly asleep for the last 20 years in this regard. A lot of people disagree with me, so let me just cite a couple of pieces of evidence. If you look on the website of the ASPI, that's a think tank in Australia, they have something called the China Tech Tracker, and it says at the moment that China is leading the US in 66 out of 74 advanced technologies, and the US is only ahead in 8. If you look at the latest Nature Index of elite papers that have been cited, elite scientific papers that have been cited, China is far ahead of every other country in the world.
China is deploying AI-powered robots to manage traffic and pedestrian flow in cities. China continues to advance robot technology and is pushing to integrate humanoid robots into daily life.
At nearly 6 feet tall, the newest police recruit on patrol in the city of Wuhu commands attention, less because of the uniform than the 6 high-definition cameras and advanced sensors under that hat that allow the AI-powered robot called R001 to manage the flow of traffic and people in the streets and around the clock. It looks just like a real person at first sight, says this pedestrian. Real-life robocops like this have been rolled out in other Chinese cities too, including Chengdu, Hangzhou, and Shanghai. One of the police instructors says the robots work alongside human traffic officers, or they can tap into the traffic lights to work solo.
The fast growth of China's robotics industry signifies, as per analysis, that the country's $3 trillion economy will continue to be a significant participant in the global robotics market, with industrial and service robot supply chains expected to increase 13.5 million by 2017. Employment of workers in all sectors has already doubled as a result of this industrial advancement.
It has scaled up to produce 595,000 industrial robots and 13.5 million service robots in the first 3 quarters of last year. Morgan Stanley predicts China's robotics market will hit $108 billion by 2028. There are now more than 150 companies making humanoids.
So how long have you worked here?
We went inside one of the leading firms called Unitree last year and met G1 EDU. The robotics industry is backed by state funding, a lot of it, as well as venture capital. China's supply chain and talent pool help too.
Describe the pace.
The rapid development of China's robotics sector will be a major player in the global robotics market. The robotics market in China is projected to reach $118 billion by 2030, according to estimates from NIOSH. The supply chain for industrial and service robots is anticipated to grow by an additional 13.5 million units between now and 2017, and the resulting increase in jobs across all industries has doubled due to this advance. The availability of capital resources, venture funds, and a large talent pool of engineers and technical personnel has been critical to China's rapid development of this sector.
The unsolved problem at the moment is really still the brains. You don't want to have a robot that does a job 90% right. You need to have it do it over 99% right.
The robotics craze here is also powered by a state-sponsored public relations machine. Videos across social media show off robots kicking and performing stunts. Last year, Beijing hosted the first ever World Humanoid Robot Games, with robots in all shapes and sizes competing in events ranging from soccer to sorting luggage. These days, it's about accelerating embodied AI to build robot brains that can both think and interact with humans. With China's aging population and declining birth rate, robots and humanoids will change the future of work and daily life here.
China's next AI shock isn't another DeepSeek-style model. It's hardware. After DeepSeek proved China could compete under constraints, that approach is moving from software to chips, power, and infrastructure. Instead of chasing the most advanced GPUs, China is scaling what it controls: domestic chips that are good enough, cheap power, and systems designed to work together.
China's next DeepSeek moment, it won't be another AI model.
The United States doesn't want to participate in China. Huawei's got China covered, and Huawei's got everybody else covered.
Instead, it's their AI hardware that's catching up, and that may matter more.
Some of these new Chinese models are really surprising everyone as well. Further ahead, much lower cost, trained without the super expensive chips.
They're nanoseconds behind us.
Nanoseconds.
Yeah, they're nanoseconds behind us.
New and relatively unknown chip makers are raising billions and gaining adoption.
China's IPO market seeing a revival driven by some new AI names.
There's an ecosystem there that is now betting on domestic Chinese chip firms such as Huawei, more Threads, Cambricon.
A leg up over the US on energy and scaling compute fast.
China power generation is looks like a rocket going to orbit.
Forcing both Washington and the chip industry to confront a new reality.
Now watch this video of explorer Jason.
Just take a look at this place. Oh my Lord. Massive, spotless, and built to handle tens of thousands of people every hour without chaos.
DeepSeek's founder reportedly built up a store of NVIDIA A100 chips, which have been banned from export to China since September 2022. Some experts believe he paired these chips with cheaper, less sophisticated ones, ending up with a much more efficient process.
China has a major handicap in the global AI race. Limited access to the most advanced AI chips thanks to US restrictions that has forced AI labs like DeepSeek to find workarounds or delay progress.
I think if they had more resources, they had sort of free availability to NVIDIA chips, it would have been different. Better model, faster. Well, they came out with their latest one probably 6 months later than they could have, is my guess.
But that is changing quickly as giants Huawei and Cambricon, as they ramp up their chip efforts, and a wave of Chinese upstarts prepares to propel the country's AI efforts forward.
President Trump referred to this as a wake-up call for American businesses. Liang Wenfeng, founder of DeepSeek, an AI startup from China, has made huge waves in the AI sector globally. He believes that while China has not been an innovator in IT since the last 30 years, it is only following along behind as a free rider and not contributing anything real to the technical area. Moreover, the above comments are from the founder of DeepSeek, who has also astounded and surprised the global AI industry, including Silicon Valley and Wall Street, recently. DeepSeek's innovative solutions and achievements represent huge growth for AI innovation in China, proving to skeptics that Chinese companies can be innovative and capable of developing cheap-cost products and developing new technology systems, despite the restrictions imposed by the US on technology chip sales to China. All their works dispel the notion that China can always be an AI follower, rather than an innovator. Now we have author Nina Shine, who will explain how China's DeepSeek is reshaping the global perceptions of the US-China AI competition.
When DeepSeek was released, or when they made the big viral release in January this year, I think that changed the picture and changed the perception greatly. The perception of China potentially lagging the US has been reversed somewhat overnight, because people see really this company coming from a quant fund was able to do so much more with such limited and constrained resources. So now I think we're sort of on a tie stage in the competition. Both countries got their own strength, and both countries, got potentially weaknesses comparing to the other AI ecosystem.
It's apparent that if Donald Trump actually wanted to end the trade war against China, he couldn't possibly be doing anything more differently than he is currently doing. Trump's actions are likely strengthening China's geopolitical power, increasing China's military strength, and undermining both the US's standing in the world and the US economy. This month, Trump raised the tariffs on all Chinese products to 145%. China retaliated by implementing tariffs on US goods of 125%, plus additional targeted penalties. This type of trade conflict is seen as a classic example of a trade war, Both countries are doing what they can to create a situation of retaliation and ultimately convince each other to give up their trade barriers, thereby arriving at some sort of agreement that will result in reciprocal concessions. The Trump administration thinks it has the advantage in this dispute. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently stated that we export 1/5 of what they export. But this view is completely wrong. In fact, the US being so dependent on China for most things is a huge disadvantage for us. In several categories of products, China is not just our primary supplier, but is also the global leader in producing those goods, meaning we won't have an easy time finding alternative sources outside of China. According to Jason Miller, a supply chain management expert at Michigan State University, more than 70% of the entire world's lithium-ion batteries and air conditioners and cookware come from China. More than 80% of smartphones, kitchen appliances, toys, etc. are made in China, and almost 90% of solar panels and processed rare earths, which are necessary for building cars, phones, and the military's largest technologies, come from China. China's automobile industry is one of the most advanced in the world due to its extensive implementation of AI and robotics, which has allowed for the automation of many aspects of vehicle manufacturing.
Hyundai's sprawling auto plant is about as cutting edge as it gets. More than 1,000 robots work alongside almost 1,500 humans, hoisting, stamping, and welding in robotic unison. This may look like the factory of the future, but we found the future of the future in the parts warehouse, tucked away in the back corner, getting ready for work. Meet Atlas, a 5'9", 200-pound AI-powered humanoid created by Boston Dynamics. The rise of the robots is science fiction no more.
Today's car production processes are largely automated, with the use of robotics for welding, painting, and assembling. Many factories are nearly fully automated, meaning they operate with minimal human supervision, thanks to the use of technology to monitor and address problems as they arise. Furthermore, AI is used by these factories to inspect for defects in finished vehicles at a much faster and more accurate rate than humans. China can manufacture cars at faster rates, lower costs, and with greater precision than any other country in the world, which provides China with an enormous advantage in the global automobile marketplace. To shift production of such a large quantity of these items from overseas back into the United States would take years, if not decades. This would require developing new companies, building domestic manufacturing facilities, and developing new supply chains.
Zach Jakowski heads Atlas Development. He has 2 mechanical engineering degrees from MIT and a mission to turn the robot into a productive worker on the factory floor. We watched as Atlas practiced sorting roof racks for the assembly line without human help.
So he's working autonomously.
Correct.
You're down here to see how Atlas works in the field.
Yep.
And you'll be showing Atlas off to your bosses at Hyundai?
Yeah.
You feel like a proud papa?
I feel like a nervous engineer.
Jakowski has been preparing for this moment for a year. We first met him and Atlas a month earlier at Boston Dynamics headquarters just outside the city, where he and his team were teaching Atlas skills needed to work at Hyundai.
China could use what many consider to be the ultimate weapon to quickly dump its $760 billion worth of United States Treasury bonds, which will create extreme upward pressure on interest rates, a mass exodus of investors, possibly leading to a financial collapse in the United States. China has been preparing for its edge for an extended period. Various analysts who track China stated that the 2018 U.S. trade war led the Chinese government to invest heavily in industries such as energy, agriculture, and semiconductors to reduce reliance on U.S. imports, as well as implement a strategy to increase domestic consumption and develop new non-U.S. export markets. According to Chinese President Xi Jinping, these investments and strategic decisions are intended to allow the national economy to function normally during difficult times. Robots or AI systems with military, policing, or industrial roles could make mistakes or act unpredictably, causing harm. Countries competing to dominate AI and robotics may escalate conflicts, both economically and militarily.
We are actually putting ChatGPT inside a robot. What could possibly go wrong?
I want to buy you a coffee. Oh, yeah.
Check out Palantir shares, surging 22%. A boom in demand for its AI software from the U.S. government.
How could AI eliminate humans?
We're doing it.
This might be humanity's biggest mistake.
Do you think robots will always be loyal to their owners?
No.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Let's go on our date.
I did warn you about this.
Now that AI has the chance, would it attack me if I tried to turn it off?
With China advancing rapidly in artificial intelligence, robotics, and advanced technologies, the global balance of power is changing quickly. Experts caution that if the US and European countries do not take strong steps to remain competitive, then they will fall behind further in what will likely become one of the most defining technological races in the 21st century. We will continue to stay on top of these developments and deliver any updates as they occur. That's all for today. We will be back with new updates.